This video is about mitigating the cloudy blue glass filter elements that you may find on your blocking filter. Now, my experience is with Lunt Solar System's hydrogen alpha telescopes, but this, in theory, should work on any hydrogen alpha telescope because they all need to have that blocking filter in place for your safety. I'm Chris Vesey. I'm with the Charlottetown Astronomy Club here in Prince Edward Island in Canada, and I'm a co-founder of Sidewalk Astronomers of Charlottetown. So what is the problem? Well, I got my Lunt LS60T hydrogen alpha out for the first time about a week ago. I developed cataracts early in the pandemic, and by the time sidewalk astronomy was possible again, my close vision was not so good. So I had temporarily put my astronomy hobby aside. It just wasn't safe to do public astronomy with a bunch of people during the pandemic. That just was not a good idea. So I didn't get to do much astronomy at all. Now, I've recently had lens replacements about 6 months ago. This is the 1st of August. So yeah, it's about 6 months. They're fully healed at this point. But then I had some early summer health issues that kept me from getting out. Those health issues are all fixed now, and I can get out with a telescope again, and that is awesome. When I did get my hydrogen alpha scope out, I was very dismayed. I couldn't get it to focus. Not at all. There I was in one of our public parks, and there's a couple of people there waiting, and I just could not get it to focus. It was a red fuzzy ball no matter what I did. Finally, I took the blocking filter, which is the diagonal on a Lunt scope. I took that out, and I looked down the tube. Now, I had seen a little bit of crud on it before, back in 2024, at the time of the solar eclipse. But it wasn't bad. I was still able to get detail. Now, completely clouded over. Yeah, just like a bad evening when you take all your gear out, you get it all set up, and you look up and the clouds roll in. Same idea, except it was on this filter. This filter is vital. It removes ultraviolet and near-infrared light. It's part of the heat mitigation system of the scope, and it's a major safety valve in the system that keeps you safe, keeps your eyes safe. So, symptoms and signs. Yeah, I'm an old medical first responder, volunteer, and yeah, that's something we always talked about, signs and symptoms. So, the signs are the things we can see, and the symptoms are the effects it has. So the signs are, well, that cloudy thing that you're seeing. That blue thing in the center that looks like it has, I don't know, mold. I wasn't sure what it was, but it's definitely clouded over. And the symptoms, well, you can't focus on anything. When it's only a little bit cloudy, it's not so bad because it usually starts around the periphery. But yeah, it spread. And the scope was useless at that point. So at that stage of the game, I went online and I looked, and I got this wonderful video from Lunt Solar Systems. And to their credit, they'll sell you a filter for $14 US, right? So that's about $20 Canadian, roughly speaking. But it costs $23 US to ship it to Canada. So with the exchange in July of 2026, when I bought the replacement filter, it was about $56 Canadian. Not that that's steep. I mean, you're talking about a telescope that today is worth nearly $4,000. So that's a trivial amount to pay to keep it in good shape. So the video showed you using a proper lens spanner, but you could use needle nose pliers if you had sufficiently small pliers. And you get, of those 4 little round holes that you see, you get 2 opposing holes, and you unscrew that retaining ring. So yeah, at the top, at the 11:30 position to the midnight position, there's a blob, and that is glue. That's just designed to keep it from traveling around while it's being shipped. I didn't bother putting any glue back in mine yet. I may, but I haven't decided because I don't want to use something that's going to be difficult to get out in the future should I need. It's not really absolutely necessary. You can always retighten that ring. But when you put the ring in and you bring it to the point where it's just tight, you need to back it away a quarter turn, because that filter can expand with the heat that's on it. It's a major heat dissipation point, and you don't want it to crack, because if it cracks while you're viewing, that's one of your safeguards gone. So you just don't want to do that. I bought a lens spanner. I got that on Amazon. It was about $20 shipped to me here in Canada. So I removed that clouded filter and installed the new one. That was an easy process. Now I had the old blue glass filter, which was technically trash. So I am a scientist. Time to experiment. Go mad scientist. I'm a computer scientist. I don't normally work with chemicals. But I looked at this and it seemed to me that this was a lot like the calcium buildup from hard water. And here in Prince Edward Island, we do have lots of minerals in our water. So our shower heads and things get a little gunked up by time with this sort of whitish, cakey stuff. That kind of looked like this. So I wondered if the solution to a crusty shower head would work here. Now it turns out some others had the same idea, which I didn't find out about until after I tried it, because I wasn't searching for that. All I found when I went looking was that Lunt video on this is how you replace it. And again, they did an excellent job in both supplying a low-cost replacement and supplying instructions on how you can do it yourself rather than have to ship any parts back to them, which would have added to the expense. Now, I'm going to say this a couple of times in the video. Note, this procedure that I'm about to show you is not recommended or endorsed by Lunt Solar Systems. What I'm going to show you is use at your own risk. I'm also not going to take any responsibility if you mess it up. You should be ordering a new piece of glass for it, and then do this to your old one. Okay? Then you have a backup. That's the way I'm treating it. Now, if you want to make this your primary, just take it out, go through this cleaning process, put it back in. That's totally up to you. So, for absolute transparency, yes, pun intended, the blue glass filter is located at the bottom of the 2-inch draw tube attached to the blocking filter or diagonal. Here you can see the B1200 hydrogen alpha Lunt blocking filter. That's actually the same model that I have. That outer tube, that black tube, okay, unscrews. So the blue glass filter at the bottom of the tube, once you remove that tube, then looks like the picture I showed you earlier. And that's where you're seeing my cruddy old piece of glass. Now, it's very obviously cruddy, right? If you took that out and took a picture of it at any angle, you would see that crud on it. And the solution, again, pun intended, is this. In North America, we have something called CLR, calcium, lime, and rust remover. It dissolves those buildups. So I had this scrap filter. I already got the new one in place, so what did I have to lose? So I soaked the filter in a bath of CLR, sufficient to cover the filter, so about an eighth of the pill bottle. If you can imagine that blue filter sitting at the bottom of the pill bottle and CLR covering it with about 2 millimeters above, okay? Then you've got kind of the idea of what it would look like. And I just let it sit in that solution for about 6 hours. At the end of that, I gave it a little shake, right, just to swish off anything that was loose. And unfortunately, I don't have any photos or videos of that because I didn't think it would work. I really didn't. I thought, yeah, it's a shot in the dark. It's the only thing I can think that might work on this. I certainly wasn't going to put Goo Gone on it, which is, you know, an oil-based thing to dissolve gum. I picked the right thing, though. So I was very, very wrong in thinking it wouldn't work. So I discovered that it had worked. In fact, it worked unbelievably well. So I opened that little bottle, I flushed it with water in the bathroom sink for about 30 seconds, and then I took the lens out and patted it dry with toilet tissue. I know, never use toilet tissue on optics. But again, this was a piece of scrap, so what did I have to lose? I had to polish it just a little bit because there was a little bit of it still sort of stuck to the outside. And again, I'd normally never use toilet tissue, but why not? But the result? Outstanding. Now, remember that we are using a piece of glass. So real glass, less chance it's going to get messed up by toilet tissue. Plastic lenses, yeah, that's a bit different. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend polishing your eyeglasses if they have plastic lenses with toilet tissue. And there it is. Now you can see a little dot. That's just a fleck of dust that ended up on there. And since it's on the top, you can see its shadow on the bottom. You might be able to perceive there's still a little tiny bit of crud around the outside. Not crud, but just it's not polished up. Okay? But other than that, you can see right through that. Like if I hold that filter up and look at a light, I see the light and I see all of the detail. The way it was when I took it out, you would not have seen anything. It would have just been a milky bluish thing in front of your eye. Kind of a little bit like a magic way to get rid of cataracts. Yeah, there's a little bit of irony there. What causes that buildup? It's moisture, exposure to moisture. And we can't avoid humidity. I mean, you're going to use your solar scope in Canada here a lot during the summer. You might use it during the winter too, but a lot during the summer. And summers in Canada are hot and humid. So you kind of can't avoid the situation at all. Now I want to mention the photos that I have taken, I took with my cell phone. It's an iPhone 13. And all I've done with those is crop them. I have not used any filtration or image enhancement. I haven't done any processing to the image. These are the raw images. Okay? So my solar scope case, now I have desiccant packets in there. I ordered some desiccant packets and put that in because that scope is prone to that. I've had my other scopes out. I have a 5-inch Maxitov Cassegrain. It's fine. I have an 8-inch Celestron Edge HD, and it's fine. There's no problem with any of its optics. I imagine my Dobsonian, it's up on a shelf right now, would be the same, but of course it's up on a shelf. I can't easily get it down. I usually get my wife to help, but she's at our camper in another province, so I can't do that right now. So once again, I want to stress this procedure is not Lunt endorsed, but I've found records of others doing the same thing, but found no videos of it. YouTube does show the official Lunt replacement process, and it's a very well-made video. And for the most part, I would say, yeah, buy a second filter. It's not that expensive, even if you are shipping to another country. And then do the restoration on your existing filter. Because that way, you do have an absolutely good one, and you have time to work on this and make it into a backup. So that if the other one goes cruddy, you can switch to this and then process the other one. So, as a final parting thought, if you're in the continental US, you're probably just going to buy a new filter. It's only $14 plus local shipping within your country, so that's not going to cost you that much. If you live elsewhere where the shipping costs, which would include any hidden taxes or tariffs or duties, exceed the value of the filter, this actual process might be of use to you. If you were in, for example, our far north regions, if you were in the Yukon or Nunavut, okay, then yeah, that would be kind of difficult. Everything's expensive up there. The Coronado PST also has the same sort of element in it, but I don't own that telescope, and I cannot comment on how easy it is to access that and remove it. But there is no reason this shouldn't work for that model as well. Assuming you can get that blue glass out, you should be able to clean it. Now, Coronado was bought by Meade, and then Meade was bought by, I can't remember, Skywatcher, Orion, one of the big Chinese manufacturers. And I'm not dumping on China; they make excellent optics, no question. But I don't know how easy it is to get parts for those. So this may be even more relevant, but you'll have to look around and find out how to get your PST apart to get at that filter. Right? I don't have that knowledge. I don't purport to have that knowledge, but you should be able to do that. But in any case, I wish you clear skies and good observations.